being. So if you've got lots of little angry chemicals running around in your system, that is a transmission because every cell has a frequency. And if the frequency is affected in serious part by low energy, fear, anxiety, whatever, then of course that's the energy that you're transmitting, whether you're aware of it or not. If you do transmit that, other people around you will certainly notice it and react to it based upon their own subconscious conditioning. But that, at the moment, that's beside the point. So you're transmitting information, and if you transmit anger, fear, frustration, whatever, into the matrix, the holoverse, whatever, then that's what's going to come back to you. And then again, you can read Kavafi's poem Ithaca. If you want to understand that a bit better, the first verse is well worth reading. If you've read it, you should read it again because you just need reminding that what you carry, unfinished business, charge, karma, whatever you want to call it, that is in part responsible for creating the world you live in. And that's what creates the discomfort, the challenge, why you're not totally at peace with yourself, why you're still questioning, why you're still doubting, why you're still trying to decide. So all of that eventually creates the world that you're living in. So as you transmit, you get back. Now, when we recognize that this is happening, this is probably the beginning of an awareness about moving beyond, setting ourselves free from that old pattern, that old reality. But until we recognize it, we'll remain victims to it. The only way we can recognize it is by who, what shows up in our life, on our path. Do we meet challenges? Do we meet people that upset us? Do we meet people that make us angry? Do we find situations that frustrate us, that keep recurring? These are all reflections of energy that we put in subconsciously in the past. Now, this makes us, in a sense, responsible for what's going on in our lives. And I believe that until we can accept that responsibility, even though that's probably too strong a word, but until we can accept that, nothing can change. We are continually struggling with what is showing up in our reality on a daily basis, whether we know it or not, whether it's an obvious struggle or whether most of our journey is relatively smooth. There still can be a few speed bumps that come along that we then have to deal with. And it's really important, I think, for those of you on this journey, that when the speed bumps show up, you recognize them as such. You don't get lost in trying to fix it again. You don't get lost in running away. You don't get lost in denying. You don't get lost in analyzing. Don't get lost in overthinking, which is what happens to just about everybody, of course. They sort of feel something's happening and they don't like it, so they think about it and they think, what can I do about this? And of course, the moment you do that, you have given energy once again to the story that somewhere in your past, for whatever reason, and not necessarily a conscious reason, you took seriously and you gave energy to. And the more you do this, the more you can stop believing a word anyone else tells you, the more, well, the quicker, in a sense, you'll be free from it. But all the time you believe what anybody else is telling you, anybody, then you're lost down that story again. So one thing is to try to stop believing what people